So bye,
Buy
this American pie.
drove my
Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry.
And them
Good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye.
singing
This'll be the day that I die. Ladies and gentlemen, a little Don McLean, a little American Pie. It's National Fast Food Day, and well, I'm thinking about pies. How are you, Grant Miller?
Grant Miller here. Fast food. I have to bring Chick-fil-A in.
You do? Did
That-
you bring me any for lunch?
That fast food place
Yes.
is standing room everywhere. There's a waiting line as soon as it opens.
I think I was talking to you on Saturday morning when I was taking my nephew there. He loves Chick-fil-A.
How can you not?
And so not only do they have a tandem drive-through up in Melbourne, Florida, they also have a guy that stands outside the window with a long 6 or 8 foot table that is sectioned off into grids where he's setting orders. They're moving that quickly that when you pull up, you're in grid 1, grid 2, grid 3, grid 4, and you're in the process of, picking up your order. Very impressive. So I told the guy, I said, first of all, your zipper's down. And I said, second of all, how do you know that that's our order? And he says, because I do this for hours and every Saturday, and I have my system. So,
Well,
by the way, I got my order absolutely right.
Chick-fil-A in Atlanta, they have double lanes. Out in Kendall, they have a double lanes.
We call that the tandem drive-through. I think McDonald's really sort of invented that. But what's cool about Chick-fil-A is that they are covered, so they can also put employees out there. So you can have 2 people ordering at any given time. You can have somebody up at the mic, and you can have somebody there on an iPad.
Well, that's in Atlanta. That's how it is. So this weekend was an exciting weekend, starting with Thursday. I'm going to go over. The Dolphins won. More important, you went and visit our mother.
Thursday night. Mother Tro, ML.
Happy birthday, Mother Tro.
Turned 84 on Friday, and so I went up and surprised her on Thursday, and we had a little cookout at my sister's place because my brother-in-law is a veteran, and so that was fun. And I got there about 3:30, and my sister had told my mother, Thursday. We were closed on Thursday for Veterans Day. And so my sister had told my mother to be there like around 3 so that I'd show up and surprise her. So of course when I got there, she wasn't there. And then it became 4:00, and I'm like, where is she?
Mother Tro.
So it turns out that, my sister, who's in her 50s, thinks she's a millennial. So she texted my mother, who's in her 80s, to come over at 3:00. So my mother never saw that.
But first of all, why is she looking at a text message?
I don't know.
I bet you in her house she still has a dial phone.
Does she have a rotary phone? Maybe in the bedroom. Maybe. She still has a landline, that's for sure. So, she calls her and my mother's like, well, I didn't know. So she doesn't get there to like 5:15. So now, I'm starving because, I had driven up and I had been like crazy that morning because I'd gone to the gym and worked out. I went to the office for a couple of hours. I had to drop off the dog at the sitter and then, gas up the car. And I didn't think I got on the road till like 12:30, and then there was traffic. I mean, can you imagine? So anyway, it all worked out, and she showed up, and she's not somebody you really surprise. She was like, oh, you're here. I hadn't seen her in probably 10 months, maybe.
What did you get her for her birthday?
So, my sister and I have stopped buying her gifts for 2 reasons. One, my mom's a little bit of a hoarder, so her house is pretty darn full.
Are you one?
Yeah, I definitely come by it, honestly. And her mother was definitely a hoarder.
You mean your grandmother?
My grandmother. Where it took like months to clean out her place after she moved out. Anyway, so my sister and I decided let's stop giving her stuff that we're just going to have to relocate after she moves out of that house. So we got all of my mother's kind of favorite places to go and eat. So I got her a $20 gift card to Wendy's, $25 gift card to Firehouse Subs. I think I got one for Cracker Barrel. My sister got a couple of other different
Does your mom drive?
She does. She still drives at 84.
Okay, let me just go. I'm more
mostly in the light. She doesn't like to drive at night, but she showed up at my sister's at 5:30.
That's night.
It was already dusk, and then she went home.
So on her birthday was Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
So as a good Jewish boy, you took her to all the places she gets free food.
That's right. We had a whole day mapped out.
My grandfather would be very proud of you.
We had the whole day mapped out. So I picked her up at 7:45 to take her to Denny's
What did she
for
get
breakfast,
What,
where
free?
you get where you're supposed to get a free breakfast. Here's the problem. When I told Sheila that my mother's birthday was today, she looked at me and said, "Well, we don't do that. You have to go on our app, sign up, and then you can download a coupon. But that takes 48 hours." So I was out $40 there for breakfast.
Okay.
Then we went to Krispy Kreme, where you're supposed to get, I don't know if it's a donut or a dozen or whatever. Get up there. We have the app. She's logging into it, forgets her password. So I'm in another $20. And then we go.
You know
we
how
went,
funny that is?
We went. I know, it's hilarious. We went by an estate sale, and so we just saw a bunch of like crap in somebody's house. That was kind of cool. I didn't really buy anything. My mom's not going to buy anything. She doesn't spend any money. It's just not her.
Why should
scene.
she? She got you.
It's not her scene. So, but we went through the house, and it was like, she said to me, "What do you think? What is the reason here?" I said, "Oh, maybe the person passed away," and so everything was for sale. They had the cupboards open. You could buy the balsamic vinegar. Everything was open. I saw these cute little 3 pigs. I thought they were salt and pepper shakers, but they weren't, so I didn't end up buying them. Plus, they wanted $20 for these little ceramic pigs. So,
considering you just spent $60 on 2 meals.
Correct. And then we went to my favorite store in Melbourne called Tuesday Morning. They have one down here in South Dade. It's a store like Home Goods, but always have kind of funky
Where's
stuff.
it in Miami?
I want to say it's down in like maybe like Cutler Bay. It's right off of US 1. It's in one of those.
Marlon.
Yeah.
There he is.
There you go.
Mike's alive.
So great having Mike here today. He doesn't usually do our show, but he's slumming it with us here today. And then we went to another Tuesday morning because there's 2 of them, like within 5 miles. Then we met my sister for lunch, and we got the free Firehouse sub. Somehow that worked. Amazing. Then we went to Publix, where you got a free half-gallon of ice cream. She got Moose Tracks. And then we went to this outlet store called Beals, and I bought a couple of shirts to like work out, and some like Champion shirts that were like $9. So, and because it was my mother's birthday, I got 15% off. I pretended to be her.
Well, I think that was good.
But I had to tell her. And by the way, she kind of gave me that look like I should flip her the $16 I saved, but she let me keep it.
All right, so Mom's birthday is success. She come back Sunday.
Right, but wait a minute. Then we take her home. She gets a 3-hour kind of respite because I wore her out. She's 84. Told her I'd pick her up at 5:45, and we went to the Chart House, which is one of the nicer restaurants in Melbourne, Florida, right on the water.
Beautiful.
It was lovely and very busy.
Who went?
I took, I picked her up, and then my sister came with her husband and my 2 nephews.
Okay, so curious. Okay, family, how do you divide the check?
In half.
Okay.
We just...
Even
my sister's very gracious. She said, "Listen, you don't have to pay for all of my clowns." And I said, "Listen, just cut it in half. That way we cover Mom." And even after all of that, now nobody drinks anything but water. I had a nice tea.
Okay.
And they ate off like the early bird menu. The whole bill for 6 of us, $200. Pretty cheap.
So Melbourne here would be about 800.
Yeah, so it was about 100 plus the tip. And the guy, Jim, thank you if you're listening. The most patient, lovely, kindest server on the planet, because we're dealing with 2 teenagers who nothing is perfect. And then my mom wanted to box it up. Then we had 2 cakes, so they brought the cakes out. We cut the cakes. Her friend Elaine made her a lemon cake, which I'm regretting not taking a piece home because it was outrageous. And then then Saturday comes, and then one of the nephews stayed with me at the hotel. We hung out. And then I took him to Chick-fil-A in the morning, got him whatever he wanted. And then, by the time I got back to my sister's around 11, and my mom was going to a church picnic. So I bolted. I stopped at the Vero outlets and bought myself a cool Dolphins shirt in honor of their win at the Big and Tall store. And then, that was basically it. But somehow, are you ready for this? Between hotel, meals, shopping, I spent over $1,000.
I was just going to.
I don't understand how that happened.
It happens. All right, let's talk about, first of all, George Gonzalez. Have you tried? He asked, what restaurant is that? Zimmean?
Oh, Zitsum?
Zipsum.
Oh, yes. I've had, I think I've had dinner there 3 or 4 times, George. He's changed the menu recently, and it's even better. I had dinner there Saturday night for the Air Supply before the Air Supply concert, and there was a whole group of us, and it was amazing. Tried 3 different of his dumplings, and oh my goodness, probably my favorite is this new like rice hot pot that has an egg on it and mushrooms. Amazing. It's like super creamy. So go see Pablo. It's only a 40-person restaurant, so you need a reservation. I'm taking Sarah Artacona and our friend Yami there on Thursday night for dinner. So
And Morgan is totally awake. The store that you were talking about in Cutler Bay.
She's had a long day already today and yesterday.
She's
it's been
working,
a crazy 2 days. Yeah.
The business you were talking about is closed in Cutler Bay. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, it's closed Tuesday morning?
Yeah.
What a huge
It's closed.
disappointment.
Okay.
It's probably for the best because, I always spend at least $100 in there, which
right.
is why I spent all that money this weekend.
Let's talk about the Gators.
Yes.
Even though they won,
it was not
was
really
a
what I would
D2
call a victory. It was a FCS. They're Division I, but they're an FCS team. And they're a middle of the pack in their conference. So, they're a team you have to keep an eye on because they're like a UAB or
Appalachian State
or, University of Louisiana.
or like University of Miami.
No. Miami's a marquee program. They're just having a tough run of it. But we gave up 42 points in the first half. I was in the car, so I was listening to it on the radio, and I was dumbfounded that we couldn't stop them in the first 5 series. They scored 7. They scored 6 touchdowns in the first half.
Wait.
We never stopped them. We never got a 3 and out. We never stopped them on third down. They didn't have to punt, kick a field goal. It was at home.
Wait, so you don't usually listen to a football game?
No.
Does your mind wander and like you're listening to the team? Are you picturing like you're in the stadium?
Not really, because I'm also driving and I'm also like probably looking at my phone, which you're not supposed to do on I-95.
So you're driving.
I was also marveling at all my purchases that I had just made.
You're like a little kid. Driving, eat. Did we eat too?
I did stop at Wawa to gas up, and I got a little bag of chips that I like that they sell there. That is like a horseradish, so it's kind of spicy.
Okay, move on.
And I saw on the window at Wawa that they sell something called the Turkey Bowl, and it's turkey and dressing. I wasn't going to eat that in the car because I'd had a pretty big breakfast with the family. So, but I was also worried about getting home because I was cutting it close. Like I didn't roll into Miami between the stops until probably 3:30, 4 o'clock, and of course, I had to get to dinner. I had made a reservation for us at 6 so we could be at the concert.
Who's us? I mean, the audience and
there were 12 of us that went to Air Supply.
What is Air Supply? Is that like Oxygen?
That's an amazing band from the 70s. They started in 1970.
Mike, find a song. Find Air Supply.
I'm going to pick a song for you. Ready? It's called I'm All Out of Love by Air Supply. Because the fact that you don't remember them, I'm falling out of love with you right now.
Earl's Sandwich at the rest stop.
Earl of Sandwich. Well, I didn't stop at any rest stops. I think, Morgan, those are on the Turnpike. So I was on 95 the whole way down.
Okay.
But they have a Thanksgiving sandwich. Is it there year round? So I went with our chairwoman and her husband.
Oh, you brought
their in-laws. Kat and Reed, myself, Audrey, Denise, John O'Rourke, and his girlfriend, Jerry.
Wow.
12 of us. So these guys are in their early 70s.
Right.
And still have it. And the crowd is all, your age, my age.
Wait, what do you mean my age?
All people in their 50s and 60s,
right,
maybe
Mike.
older.
Go ahead.
No, I want to leave this song.
Oh, you like it, huh? Okay.
This was, I think, so we got there at 8:02. They had already gone on.
Because they're old, because they want to
They're
start.
like, we got to go to bed. And they did a show. They went to almost 9:50.
Where was it again?
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. You know this song.
Of course I do.
And do you hear his voice?
Yeah. Same.
His voice is just as crystal clear and beautiful. Anyway, I've seen them now in concert 3 out of the last 5 years. They were gone for 2 years because of COVID. They were one of the last concerts I saw in January of 2020, and I got to tell you, amazing. And they did 3-song encore.
I mean, who did you cheat on with me?
I went with Denise.
Denise
Saturday Minikowski, and I know your Saturday nights are pretty sacred. You go to dinner early, you have a little rough housing, and then you're home by 11.
11 that late?
10:30.
Okay, so you went to Air Supply. All right.
Yeah.
So the Canes,
Tough day for them. It's interesting because we were at dinner and they were up 28-20. And so everybody kind of put their phone down and we were ordering. And then I kind of forgot about it because I had been listening to the first part of the game when I went to the restaurant, because I think they went on at 3:30 or 4 o'clock. So, fast forward, we get in the car. We're going to carpool over to Magic City Casino. And I said, hey, Jerry, I said, how much did the Canes win by? And he held it up and he said, they lost 31-28.
so you're very good friends with Blake James.
Wonderful man.
Yeah.
My heart breaks for Blake, and I will give him a day or two to kind of absorb all of this and then reach out to him. But fine individual.
Class act. What's very funny before we get into his football, my son's name's Blake. So sometimes I had to change my son's name on my phone because I would hit Blake James 11 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Sure, you appreciated that.
Yeah. So
classy guy.
I think they said fire him, and he says, no, I'm not firing him.
So you're the second person today that says that that's probably how it went down.
They're best of friends.
Where
Blake
he
and Manny.
resisted. It's not even the firing, but maybe the timing of it. I think he has said all along that, we evaluate on a weekly basis, but we make the real evaluation at the end of the season.
Right.
I understand that people want to make a statement and they want to be reactive. It also maybe gives them a head start on a new coaching search. I mean, you saw another coach got fired today.
Poorly. FIU shows.
Well, that was yesterday with Butch.
Who are you talking about?
But today they fired Justin Fuentes, who was the cat's meow when he went to Virginia Tech. And now I think in not even 2 seasons, he's like 11-12, 11-13. They brought that guy from Memphis as the next star. He was the heir to Frank Beamer and the Virginia Tech Hokies. And listen, I get it. Business is business, and football is certainly a big business, certainly in the conference world and playoff world and bowl game world. And I'm frustrated with our coach. I'm frustrated, and I'm probably been accused of saying, don't even let him back on the bus. But at the end of the day, fans are fans because it's short for fanatics. We're fanatical about our teams. We give a tremendous amount of our time to support them, to sit and watch and listen to a football game for 4 hours. That's a commitment. We don't do anything like that.
Wait.
We don't do that over a meal. We don't do that even at work. We don't necessarily work 4 hours straight without a little break. Like, we're so invested. I don't care whether you're a Gator or a Seminole or a Hurricane or a Mighty Duck. I think it really has to do with being that fanatical person. So there's going to be a lot of disruption between now and I would say December 10th, when you kind of get past the conference championships. And, listen, the Blue Bloods are playing great, but Kansas beats Texas. What happens to,
Cincinnati.
to Sarkisian? What happens? Not even been there that long, but we are quick to react. The problem is, and my nephew says this to me all the time, well, then who are we going to hire? You fire that guy, who are you going to hire? Who's out there?
Right.
And I don't know that, because if LSU is open, they've got a head start. Now Virginia Tech has a head start. I don't know what ends up happening with Manny Diaz. They've had some real ups and downs, but every team in Florida is having a real up and down kind of year. And I don't know what happened with Butch, but I think maybe the same thing. Pete decided to step away.
Well,
and 24 hours later, Butch is.
Well, they advertised for a coach. Before they 24/7 Sports Network picked it up. They advertised for a coach before they told Butch. So Butch just showed a lot of class.
I have to tell you, he spoke at our annual conference 2-3 years ago, and Nelson Lazo was the incoming chair. Brought him in, and we worked through Pete Garcia. Had lunch with Pete. Worked with Butch. Butch came in. And what was really cool about Butch Davis is that I knew him when he coached at Miami. He had created a program called the Academic Coach. And so the way he would try to further connect the student-athlete experience with faculty and administration is that he had 2 academic coaches for every football game. So there'd be one assigned to defense, one assigned to offense. So you have to be nominated by a player. So I was nominated by Dan Webster. You remember Dan?
Right.
The great linebacker. I had been his academic advisor his freshman year and met his family when he first started. And he nominated me. And so I was assigned to defense. And remember who the linebackers coach was then?
Brandon Shannon.
That's correct. So you spend that entire week. So I picked a home game. I didn't feel like I necessarily wanted to travel with the team, although that would have probably been really cool. But I picked a home game. And so, your week begins on Tuesday. So Tuesday, there is practice in the early afternoon. Most of the guys are out there on the old Green Tree practice field by 2:30. So you can go out. There's no shade. And I don't care that it's November. It's still really hot. And you're just there. And the goal is not get run over, not get hit, not fall down, not die. And you're with the linebackers. And then you go to dinner with them at training table. And then they go to academic study hall.
Do they really eat a lot?
They do. And they're fun. The linebackers that's a fun crew. I don't know if it's because of Randy really loved his guys, or they're just, they're some of the superstars that have been at the university.
Oh, huge.
Including Dan. I'm sorry, not Dan Webster, Dan Morgan. Morgan.
I know who you meant.
Yeah.
It's coaching somewhere
I'm thinking
now.
Daniel Webster. Yeah, Dan Morgan.
You're
Super nice guy. Great
about
hair. Oh my God, gorgeous hair. So anyway, we're and then you go watch film. So I'd never watched film. So Randy, you're in a room off of the academic study hall area, and it's just the linebackers. And they have this machine that's like fast forward, stop, go forward, stop, go back. And we would watch one play. We were getting ready to play West Virginia. So we were in the Big East back then. So we're getting ready to play West Virginia. They had an unbelievable running back named Amos Zaraway. And that's all these guys were scheming up for. Because they didn't really throw the ball.
When you watch that film, they're looking for how his foot lines up.
Everything.
How is his alignment? If they're toes to the left, toes to the right.
And Randy is teaching, and he's quizzing, and the guys are standing up, and he's lining them up in the room. And so we probably watched in a 2-hour period of film study like 3 plays, but those were their bread and butter plays, and they knew that this guy was going to be a nightmare matchup for them. So
and what happened?
So Friday night you leave, and I didn't take the bus up, but you go up to Shula's. At the time, you went up to Shula's in Miami Lakes,
and that's where they stay.
And they stay there, and then dinner was at like 5:30, an unbelievable spread. And the guys kind of sit in their pods. So I'm with the linebackers, and then we went to a movie. We went to see Michael Douglas in the game.
Well, they rent the whole theater out.
Yeah, the whole theater is theirs. So we saw The Game. I think Michael Douglas was in that. Very good movie. Then we come back, and there's film and ice cream bar. So we're eating ice cream sundaes. We're watching film, and then it was a noon game. So up early.
You're up at
so
6.
I didn't stay at the hotel. So, coach had said, either meet him at the stadium. So you had to get there early. They start their walkthrough like 9:45. So
that means
we're at the old Orange Bowl too.
They're leaving Miami Lakes
9:15, 9 o'clock.
Well, they're getting taped early.
Yeah. And then they get there. So I met them when they got off the bus, and they're in suits because that was Butch's, that was his thing.
His MO.
And we walk through, and then, they go in the locker room. And so I get with the chaplains. That's the group. And then the kicker at the time, whose name I can't remember, the place kicker and the field goal kicker was in the fraternity that I was the advisor. Really nice guy. And so he says, hang with me, man. And I'm like, okay. Because the issue with the linebackers is there's just too much activity. Like they're in and out,
Right.
They're subbing in, subbing out. And Randy originally was going to have me kind of work his wire for his headset.
No way.
And I was so bad at it during like walkthrough and practice that he had like some 10-year-old do it who was much better at it.
More coordinated.
Some coach's kid. So I hung with the chaplains. And so, at the half, Miami was, I think, was up like, I want to say 7-3. They had really shut Zaraway down. We go in, and the guys divide really into two. That's the defense and the offense. So Larry Coker was the offensive coordinator. So the guys are over on that side of the locker room. We're at the old Orange Bowl, and I'm with the chaplains. And I have to tell you, it smells really bad in the locker room at halftime. And so the chaplain could see that like my eyes were watering, and I was a little bit queasy. And he goes, "Breathe through your mouth. Breathe through your mouth." So that saved me. Thank you, chaplain.
Who was it?
I don't know. He was somebody that I knew because he was on campus, and he had obviously done this many times. So Butch comes out. There's a big clock in the locker room with your countdown for halftime. So I learned a lot of things. Now, they were flying banners over the stadium, fire Butch Davis. It was a rough time for him. So he comes out and he goes, gentlemen, if they don't score any more points, we win the game. And I'm thinking, okay, that's the speech. Because it was like 7-3 or maybe 10-3. They get out. West Virginia adjusted. I think Zeroy ran for 6 touchdowns in the second half. They blew out Miami in the second half, and it was rough.
The assistant coach of the linebackers.
Yeah, so he was gone at that point to go to Cleveland, and Larry got promoted. So, and then Larry wins the national championship
with Butch's
guys.
All right,
so it's a long story, but that's how I met Butch Davis. I had to go to his office, have a meeting with him. He is a giant man, by the way.
Bigger than life.
Humongous.
Bigger like his
big hands. And he had a rotary phone on his desk, the only thing on his desk. So we're talking. He talks to me about the schedule, the expectations, and that they're honored that I accepted. And he didn't really know me. And I said, Coach, there'd be some things that I'd love to talk with you about. I didn't understand why we didn't do pep rallies. I didn't understand why we didn't engage the way I was used to at Florida. And he said there'd be another time for that. I think he already knew that
he was gone.
He was gone.
Okay, let's move on. We got book fair. Let's talk about the book fair. What's happening there?
It's book fair week. I got to go to the opening night with Amor Tolles, who many of you might remember wrote Gentleman from Moscow, his big book. But he has a new book out. So sorry. Called The Lincoln Highway, which talks about some fictional characters crossing the United States on what is really now called Highway 30.
Right.
What was originally called the Lincoln Highway. And he told actually the whole background story that in the time of this road being built, there was very little infrastructure. Well, we talk about infrastructure every day now. We talk about the infrastructure bill. We talk about the billions of dollars coming to Florida to help us with our bridges and roads. And so Carl Fisher, who we all know in Miami,
right,
raised the money to build the first cross-country highway, a 2-lane road.
People don't know
that stretched basically from, I want to say it was from like Washington, D.C., all the way to San Francisco. So it didn't come near Florida or anything, but it went through Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois. It went through Nebraska. And it's still there today. It's more of a country road now, Highway 30. But he said what was great is that when he spoke to our audience, we all knew who Carl Fisher was because we're Miamians. When he gives this same speech in other parts of the United States, they're like, who? And Carl Fisher made his money by selling a piece of technology to a large automotive company. So he was very wealthy. And he built Fisher Island. He came to Florida, and he fell in love with this area. But the original area where Fisher Island was like an avocado farm.
That island.
Yep. And the guy couldn't do much with it.
And who owned it?
I don't remember.
First black millionaire.
Oh, really?
I think
he didn't have enough money to finish the bridge. So Carl paid for the bridge.
Wait, the Fisher Island?
Well, it wasn't really Fisher Island then. It was that part where I guess where like Lummis Park is. And
I get Mike, can you check Mr. Dorsey, Dozier?
Dorsey?
Yeah. I don't know his first name. Miami. Google and see. I thought he owned that island.
He had initials as his first name.
Yeah. So
D.A. Dorsey.
And see if he owned Fisher Island. Okay.
Anyway, he cut a deal, build the bridge. I'll give you some. You'll give me some of the land, and you can keep your avocado.
Okay. So last Thursday there was a drum roll.
Yeah.
Coming from Bird Road in 88th.
Yeah.
Grant Miller brought. He's owned it, right?
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
He didn't tell that story. He just started with Carl Fisher, but he didn't reference D.A. Dorsey. But he could have done that in Miami.
Right.
And I believe Mr. Dorsey's buried.
So there's drum roll Wednesday at 2:30. Grant Miller picked up the world famous Dave Arbetter and brought him to your office.
You did.
And you want to tell everybody in the world what happened?
We had a big moment. We've been talking about this since COVID. We officially named the Tater Tots.
Not we, Arbetters.
Dave Arbetter, with Grant's great support, named the amazing, fresh, incredibly robust tater tots at Arbetter's.
Well, what's it called?
Tots or Trowbridge Tots. So you can go there now and see our
On the menu.
family name on the menu.
Did you tell your mom?
Oh, I don't think so. My mother, that doesn't excite her.
Did your sister? You tell anybody?
It's really always about them. It's a
Oh.
little difficult to get away.
Well, it was
from
very
otherwise.
exciting because we sat at your desk.
You know who was excited? My niece and nephew, because I sent them all the pictures. And
We sat at your desk and ate the
we ate the rest of the tater tots, and we laughed, and I was multitasking. That was kind of a wild day, but I really appreciate it. And I will tell you two things. I think anytime your name ends up on a menu anywhere, it's a great honor, but especially at Arbetter's, which everybody in Miami knows. It's like talking about Carl Fisher. Everyone knows Dave and what his family and family business have meant to so many of us. And as a kid who grew up
in a restaurant
business, and it's a little bit nostalgic, but grew up, working with my dad, for my dad. I got to drive by his old restaurant when we were in Melbourne. I probably hadn't done that in years, but an opportunity to say, you know what, I will always honor, value, and celebrate the restaurateur, because I know how hard work is. I was telling him, I said, the guys that work there are amazing.
So
they're young and they're just funny, and they just, you know what, they have a great time.
So Dave says, "Hey, I never eaten at this restaurant down in Prime. Will you go with me this Thursday?" I said, "Sure." And when we're driving by Anna Caprice, I want to have the Anna Caprice salad. So
you didn't end up going south.
Yeah, we went to Anna Caprice. So there we are at the bar. Dave and I are eating.
Yeah.
And I introduced, and Anna Caprice having this special wine, not wine night, but a wine meal, $150 in the back room. And they're like they're just hanging out in the front, and I introduce, this is Dave Arbiter, and the girls go, "Oh my God, I love Arbiters." And so Joe says out loud, "Dave, where's the hot dogs?" So as soon as we finished, we drove, brought 20 hot dogs back.
Oh my God!
Parked in the kitchen.
That's not an easy drive.
Right, we passed hot dogs out. It been in the kitchen, and the people that were spending $150 at the wine dinner
had the hot dogs.
Had the hot dogs.
I would have been that guy too. There's nothing about a great hot dog. It's almost indescribable. Part of me laughs because we do our big Burgerlicious event every year.
When is that coming up?
January 13th, 2022, ladies and gentlemen. We're just about 2 months. This Thursday, we're exactly 2 months from that event. And
by the way, that is a great event. And I think
we love that event. And, it's always like, ooh, a lot of stress. And we're going to be in a new venue in front of our office.
I think it's going to be better.
I think so. We're going to be right in the heart of
first of all,
community.
There'll be more parking around the area.
Yes.
All the vendors will be on concrete.
Correct.
I think that is exciting because your office will be
highly activated, and the welcome center.
Right. It'll be activated. New people that aren't part of the chamber will see it. Okay. November 27th is kickoff day.
I'm supposed to ask you about what happened to Romberg.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, all right, George. You may have to give us a little more insight.
Okay. Let's talk about the November 27th, Small Business Day.
We're excited about Small Business Saturday. This will be the 11th year that we have participated in the program. We did a modified version of it last year. But this year we'll kick off 10 a.m. We'll be over at Bliss Imprints and Gifts, 293 Miracle Mile. It's a store that opened during COVID. Eddie and Marilyn are the owners of Bliss.
What is it?
It's a stationery store. They also do, invitations made to order wedding invitations. So that's the imprint side. And they also do gifts. They do these great digital books, which are really cool, which are great for corporate gifts. So definitely come and hang out with us. We're working right now on a couple of dignitaries. I know the SBA will be there that morning. One cool thing we're doing differently this year is we're synergizing it with our architectural walking tour.
All
so
same
at
time.
11 o'clock, we'll kick off and do a walking tour. And we'll end up on Giralda about 12:30. A group of us will have lunch at Kraft, which is the pizza place there that opened in the last, 6 months.
Where are they from?
They are Argentinians.
Great food.
3 best friends that opened that restaurant. Great food.
Great brownies.
And then I'll go visit some stores. And my favorite stores, of course, to visit are everything from Books and Books. And Mitchell Kaplan, by the way, is headlining our book club on December 3rd on the perfect gifts to buy and books for family, friends, co-workers, colleagues, corporate partners, and vendors. And he's always a great time. So he's putting together that wish list. We'll synergize that around Small Business Saturday. We'll do it virtually so folks can zoom in from wherever. Mitchell's got a great following, so we'll be doing a lot of that on social media promotion. Who wouldn't want to hear the best 10 gifts to buy? And then he'll give us a little preview about new books coming out. I saw him the other night at Amore. Everybody in the room runs to see Amor. I go see Mitchell.
I really don't know him, but we know each other.
Yes.
But you cannot be. I'm just like, I see him. I go, I'm amazed by what he's done. He was a teacher.
He was. He was
At
a
Miami
middle
Beach
school.
High.
He was a middle school teacher.
In Miami Beach somewhere.
Yeah,
And
he went to Beach High,
right.
and then he moved to Colorado, got his undergraduate degree in education, and then his passion has always been, I think, being the entrepreneur. I think if he didn't own a bookstore, he'd own a record store. I think he's told me that before.
Well, he's
got some records in the bookstore. He's definitely crossing over, but
and then when you listen to him, you have to really listen to him. Now, you and me are loud. He makes you listen to him, and he's just intrigued by him.
He's so thoughtful. I think I've told this story before, so I'll just be my mother for a moment and repeat myself. But when I came to the chamber, I made a list of 10 or 12 people that I wanted to meet with in my first 6 months, and he was on that list, and he was the last person of that group that I sat down with, just scheduling and everything. And so I think we had about a 30-minute window where I was going to meet him in the cafe. That turned into an hour and a half discussion. And in that discussion, he mentioned several times about how long they had been a chamber member, which was over 20 years, but they'd never collaborated with us. We worked together constantly on not just book club.
But you're a book lover, and
it is a personal passion. It's the same way I feel about restaurants, but bigger than that is I'm passionate about people. We had a great panel today of women entrepreneurs, and what my biggest takeaway was when people talked about, how much they love the people around them. And, the chamber, we're surrounded by members and community
and successful people.
Very successful people.
Right.
And I would say, and even though we can be a little grumpy at times, and I will own that personally,
really,
I'm really proud of Ileana and Morgan and Erica and Jen and Yvette. They really love our members. They take very, very good care of them.
You hear that, Morgan?
Probably don't say
was that a compliment? Did I just hear a compliment?
Sure.
Morgan, that was a compliment.
But I was reminded of that today because if somebody said to me, describe our culture, that would be one of the things. And, it's not just customer service. It's more than that. And in a chamber where you need a great differentiator because there are dozens of them within a stone's throw, that is our great differentiator. I can say that because I've been involved and I know the leaders and I've worked with the other chambers. That is our calling card.
I agree. As you know, I hang out in the front with your staff during things, and they really care about Morgan. Morgan, you're the best. Excuse me. What's Southbridge? Where did that come from?
I think she was talking about a school.
Okay, yeah, but what's Southbridge? Okay, listen, we got Tallahassee flying. I want to hear who you guys met with.
So we had 14 meetings over the last 2 days. We opened with the Florida Chamber, met with the Florida Retail Federation, the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association. We met with the Hotel Association here in Miami to talk about a number of issues. We met with Enterprise Florida, and then we met with the following elected: Senator Ana Maria Rodriguez,
who's she's in she's in the real estate.
She's great, so she gets it.
She works for the real estate people,
Miami
right?
Association of Realtors, so she gets membership organizations like ours. We met with Senator Pizzo's staff. We met with Senator Tadeo. We met with Speaker Designate Perez. We met with Vance Lopez.
Danny Perez, Speaker, in 4 years now, right?
It'll be a little more than 2.
And he's a Miami guy, and we're very lucky to get the speaker.
How amazing. We haven't had a speaker from South Florida since since Oliva, and before that, Rubio.
So we're very lucky.
Yeah. So it's a great run here because, Danny's a very thoughtful person, and he's just so kind and patient. We had a member that kind of pushed him a little bit on kind of regulatory oversight related to COVID and said, Republicans generally talk about deregulation. You guys are up there in a special session trying to maybe layer on some rules. And he handled it with great aplomb. And you know what he said at the end? Here's my personal cell number. Call me if you want to continue the conversation.
Come on.
Who does that? So Vance Lupus, of course. We had Michael Grieco. We opened with Leader Avila. Chair Avila is a
future county commissioner.
Very much in line to seek Rebecca Sosa's seat. And looks like, he'll raise a good amount of money. There are another number of other people running that we'll definitely chat with as well. But we've gotten to know Brian the last couple of years. Plus, he's my representative in Miami Springs. And so, that was just a great group. So we had, I think, 6 meetings with partners and 8 meetings with elected officials. So
It was good. Good.
it was good. The challenge is doing it on Zoom is tough. We had a lower audience than I would have hoped for because it is a lot of time to ask of people. But we put in, between Morgan, Erica, and myself, over 100 hours of preparation.
You used to
for
fly
that.
up there. Now you
We
go.
did, and the last 2 have been virtual, unfortunately. I will not do another virtual flight. If you cannot travel, then either we won't do it or, we'll go with a small group. Unfortunately, this time there were only 3 or 4 people that wanted to go. And that's a lot of work to do for 3 or 4 people. I think over the course of 2 days, we probably had about 25. So that's a little more manageable. And that's what typically would travel to Tallahassee. But I'm hopeful that we'll be back and able to do
It's
that.
exciting going to Tallahassee because a lot of people who haven't been there and doesn't realize.
Well, and the session had started in March like normal. We probably could have accommodated a January, February trip.
But if you've never been to Tallahassee and see how it works,
it is important. And it's very important for these members to see you in Tallahassee because they know this. Grant, you run your own business. So you've paid to be here. You're taking time away from your business. You're paying for that very expensive flight. You're paying for that hotel during session. And you're giving up 2 full days, maybe 3 full days away from work, family, obligations.
Hotel, how many nights you there?
We usually are there 2 nights, maybe 3.
So we're talking right off the bat, $1,200 to $1,500.
Yeah, so the hotel's about $175 a night.
Like
so if I
$200.
stay 3, then you're talking about $500, $525.
And the plane fare?
The flight can be about $400.
So $1,000. That's $1,000 before
That's
food.
before any meal. We don't charge delegate fee. And then it's just 2 long days. Like we hustle. We're a little different than most chambers. We kind of use Monday as partner day, and then Tuesday is really the
hump day,
the day with all the electeds. And I'm glad we got to 8. We did not have a chance to see Nick Duran. He got pulled into a meeting this morning. We did not connect with Demi or Ileana, but we did talk to a number of other folks in leadership posts that are important to our members. So,
Danny Perez is going to be, it's a home run for South Florida.
I couldn't agree more. And I think our goal long-term with him is to continue to cultivate that relationship. He has a very, very good beat on what his priorities will be already. And we're still, a little more than 2 years away.
All right. We got November 18th. Exciting. Is November 8th or December?
It's on Thursday.
2 days from now.
The breakfast?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Good Morning Coral Gables with Commissioner Raquel Regalado.
Who is about education.
District 7. It's celebrating education. She'll speak at the top of the program, and then the young people will manage and produce the program, which I think will be very cool.
Regalado is just a fighter. She's just, I love her. She does a great job, and she will do a great.
She has the chops. We have not had her address our chamber before, so we'll have about 100 or so folks at the breakfast. Maybe a little more than that. So we're looking forward to Thursday. We're still distancing, if you will, and I hope by the time we get to January. Today we had about 40 at our women's lunch, and we did seat 10 at a table.
It was a lunch. And I missed it.
Yeah, we had a great panel of entrepreneurs from the Goldman Sachs program. November is National Entrepreneur Month. So for us, it's a great opportunity to really celebrate not only women, but celebrate our entrepreneurs. And the 4 of them did a great job.
You have a chamber engagement. What is that, 101?
It's on Friday. It's an orientation, but it's also an opportunity.
In person or?
It's a hybrid, so you can do both. But most people come to that one in person, and they come to our Alan Morris conference room in our office.
What conference room is it?
The Alan Morris Company conference room.
Does it have a white jacket outside?
It does not, but it is very dapper otherwise. It's one of my favorite places to be in our office, besides my bathroom.
Oh, that's interesting. The bathroom at your office.
In my office.
Okay.
I have a bathroom in suite.
Okay, November goals. We sold 3 trustees. How many do we need to sell this month?
So in October we sold 3. November we need to sell 7. We're at 1, and we've got a couple pendings. I've got one where we're just waiting for the check, and I know that Jen is working on a couple of others, but we have an aggressive goal here before the end of the year.
It's important to make sure everybody knows.
Yeah, I mean, we're at 21 members already, and it's only the 16th day of the month. 15th day yesterday.
Every time the wind down Wednesday, it's all new people, so it's very exciting.
Still
to me.
A lot of new faces, still a lot of folks who are engaging, young people. I mean, we're very proud of our growth over the last 6 months, but we're never satisfied. I'm never satisfied. So
if you're not, your team's not. We're still working on the Instagram, correct?
Oh, Mitchell Kaplan worked at Southridge. That's what she was.
Yeah, I figured that out. Takes me a little while.
Say the last question.
What's for dinner?
Oh my goodness.
No, the goal.
My dinner plans tonight got switched to
What
tomorrow
happened?
night. My dinner date, she needed to
Where are you
switch
going?
it.
Where are you going tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night we're going to Burger Night at Riviera.
Burger Bob's?
No, Burger Night at Riviera. It's always on Wednesday nights,
Oh,
which is
Riviera.
hilarious because I never
Country Club.
would miss that when Andrea would invite me. She's married now, so I'm very happy she invited me.
I told you I saw her jogging by.
Yeah, she said hi.
I know. She was
fantastic.
sprinting. I was
She
walking.
had something come up tonight. We were actually going to go to a different restaurant, so I'm actually very happy. So tonight, the nephew's wife is traveling, so he and I will go to Costco, and I'll probably get a hot dog.
Okay, some quick questions. Wawa, what's happening in the one in Gables? Is it coming along?
Coming along. I mean, I don't think the courts have stopped anything. I don't know if there's anything still pending. There was an issue of
trees or something
standing in the filing, and they were allowed to refile. I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Since then. But I have fallen in love with Wawa. Yeah, I stopped at the one down there on Bird, and
they have one on 184th.
And I stopped at the one in Vero Beach, and it was awesome.
Bird, 184th in the Turnpike.
First of all, it's so clean in there. There's so many options, and everybody's so friendly.
All right, next thing. So your chairman,
yes, Anna Chowie.
I met her and her husband,
yes,
and they were talking about their son at Columbus High School.
That's right, JC.
That was whenever your event was at Biltmore at night. When was that? Last Thursday?
On the 8th.
4 days later, I'm at Columbus High School. I see their twin, Anna's son. I go,
I never thought of him, but now that you mention it, I think he does look a lot like her.
Yeah, I go.
I mean, she's a beautiful woman, so he's in good shape. He's gonna kill with the ladies.
Yeah, I go, is your mom Anna? And he goes, how do you know? Like he's like, he was quizzing me.
Well, he is a reporter.
Yes,
he's on there, CCNN. He's done very, very well.
Yes, he does.
He's gotten some great interviews.
Mike, remember meeting that kid? Yeah, he was like, "What are you talking about?" It was funny. But he's. I'll probably see him tomorrow night at a big event in Columbus. But the last question, the most important question, your workouts.
Yeah, they're going great. So I had 2 days where I didn't work out because I was traveling. So I worked out early Thursday morning on Veterans Day. So that I could get a workout, and I moved up my normal Friday workout to Thursday with Omar. And I'm so glad I did because I ran into the owner
of what?
Of Lifetime. Was in town.
Wait, there is an owner. It's not a
Baram. So he came over and said hello. I met him at the ribbon cutting.
Is he a nice guy?
Super nice. And the guy and the team loves him. And Omar was like, he came over and said hello to you. I said, he said hello to you too. He goes, yeah, but he came to see you. I'm like, it's all good. And so I threw in an extra workout on Sunday, got up early, went and did a core class with Sergio, who's like one of the head trainers.
All that price is all included.
Yeah, there are some classes that you can add a la carte. I don't typically do those. My a la carte is the training and the every other week massage. So when I work out 8 days in 2 weeks, 4 and 4, then I earn myself a massage.
Okay, so you do 100 squats, you said?
It depends.
With the weights in your hand?
Well, with the training I did with him last Thursday, we did 30 weighted goblet squats. So I'm holding a 44-pound kettlebell kind of right here at my chest and doing 3 sets of 10. But they're supersets, so I'm also doing that with something else, with the leg press or something.
Do you ever go like this and go?
No, because I'm very dissatisfied with myself. I mean, I make progress, but I think other people notice the progress. I mean, I can tell you 3 things. My body fat is down 4%. I've actually gained a couple pounds because I've gained muscle. I definitely feel more toned because of that. And then the third one is really just, I have to continue to find a way to where I fall in love with the workouts. It's still a bit of a chore. Like when I hit that alarm at 5:40, it's still like, okay, time to make the donuts without getting to eat any of the donuts.
Well, this morning I was up and walking at 5:32.
Yeah, it's nice.
And it was a little chilly for me, but I try to walk every day.
I love it.
I can't walk Thursday, of course.
No. So my workouts this week are a little bit funky because we had the fly-in today. And so I had a breakfast with David Whitaker and with the dean of the School of Business at 7:30.
Where do you have breakfast?
Riviera, because the dean is a member there.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So this was like crazy because I don't usually work out on Wednesdays because it's my recovery day. So this week I'll work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
And who's your favorite trainer?
Well, I was trained with Omar. He's great. He's from New York. He's very thoughtful. But there's a couple of other folks there who also lead classes. So I love Martine. Sergio's great. So I did this core class, which I wasn't sure, how I would do. But, I'm always doing exercises to strengthen my core. So we start out by sitting on one of those balls. And then he has us roll it forward and lay over it and then do like crunches. I thought there's no way I can do that. First of all, I was able to do it, not deep crunches. So afterwards, and I worked out with my friend Michelle, who's also my gastroenterologist. So there were 8 of us in the class. And, it gets the heart pumping, man. It really does. We did 3 sets of 2 4 times. So you're rolling through these. And I was doing a lot of planking on dumbbells.
That hurts the wrist.
It does.
A little tender.
And the people who are really good could do some like
you do some
rows. So we finish, and I'm cleaning the ball up and putting stuff away. And he goes, Mark, he says, everybody here has seen your progress. Like they know how dedicated you are, and they're very impressed by that. And he says, I see your improvements. I watch you with Omar. I watch you in classes, and you know what? That may be for me the better motivator than myself. Is that when you're there and you talk about it as much as you and I talk about it and others, there's a level of accountability that is highly motivating. So I appreciate you asking, and
I just love it.
I just want to earn my keep. And listen, the chamber has been very supportive to make sure schedule wise, I'm there early, so I'm still at the office by 8:30, but there's there's a commitment to that. And let me tell you, I'm still sweating when I'm showered and changed, and I'm still
sweating after you shower.
Absolutely.
Well, it's great. All right, it's time to wrap it up, Mark.
Well, it's been a great November so far. I can't believe we're more than halfway through it. I want to thank our team and the work that they've done. We've sold 21 members, but our goal is to add 6 more trustees. So if you're thinking about membership, whether our chamber or another, well, I hope you'll think about investing at the trustee level. Not only does it get you and your colleagues membership into our chamber, it gives you access to some incredible speakers and events. We have one on December 14th at Gentera, the newest precision medical health facility right in the heart of Coral Gables at 550 Biltmore Way, exclusively for GEM and trustee members. Most importantly, we're heading into the holiday season. So let me remind you, please shop small, shop local, buy local, and let's support those small businesses that are there for you the other 364 days out of the year. We'll see you next week. I know we're heading into Thanksgiving, but that just means more workouts, less carbs.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
Great day, everyone.